Hey everyone, welcome back to part 2 of an ongoing short podcast series, Stories from the Inside. If you didn't see the previous part, don't worry, you don't have to be all caught up. Today, I'll be interviewing another of my friends about their school experience. Please, introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, my name is Gray Lee. I am a senior in high school and, well, there's not much else to know about me. I'm in a couple of clubs and I run a couple of clubs, and I'd like to say that I'm a pretty busy person, but I don't like to boast too much about myself, so I'll end that there.
I forgot you were a senior. This should be interesting. All right, wonderful. Let's get into this. First, tell me about your school experience, high school, middle school, elementary school, basic stuff. We'll get into more specifics later, obviously, but just like whatever you want to share.
You want me to go from elementary to high school? Is that, or you want me to choose one?
You can do elementary through high school, whatever you are comfortable with, whatever you think is interesting or important.
Okay. Well, this will probably be a bit short because I don't really remember my childhood that much. So, I guess I could start from middle school. That's when a lot of big changes happened for me. I struggled a lot. I mean, like every other middle schooler in the world. But, I had a lot of personal stuff going on. And when I reached high school, I definitely peaked. I'd say my best year would be maybe I was happiest my sophomore year, which is kind of funny because a lot of people say their sophomore year was the worst, but it was the best for mine. So I've always been involved in my community ever since I was super young. I used to do sports, and I've always been, whenever there's community events like festivals or football games or something, anything like that you can think of, I'm always trying to help out, and I've got a lot of hours under my belt, and I'm kind of proud, but then again, I don't like to talk too much about that because, I'm not like that. But I pretty much climbed the ranks in high school. I worked really hard, kept my grades up. I didn't take any honors classes because I don't know, but that's the one thing, that's the one great thing I haven't done. I'm part of the National Honor Society, National Technical Honor Society, all these societies that I have to get my list out to honestly name them all. But doing that has definitely made my high school experience great. I understand that a lot of people, they just want to get through high school. They don't care. They need to get out of there. They hate it. And they just want to get their diploma and go on with their lives. I get that. I'm kind of not that way. So I've had a lot of opportunity to help others and to see others kind of climb the ranks like I did and then reach the top. Their senior year is the pinnacle. It really is. And so in conclusion with that, I guess it's been pretty successful. Of course, I had a lot of struggles, but I'll lay off of that in case one of the other questions deals with it. And that's it.
All right, very good. I'm actually also surprised that people think their sophomore year is the worst because my sophomore year was also a very big tipping point for me. I mean, I joined drama club for Pete's sake.
Oh, that's right. You didn't do drama club right from the start, did you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was a boring child in freshman year. So tell me about your best teacher ever and why were they so good? What made them so good?
Best teacher ever. I really gotta think about this.
I know, it's hard to think of.
Because a lot of my teachers, honestly, from freshman, sophomore year, I've just forgotten about. So, I mean, I've had some recent teachers that have been really good. Oh, how could I forget Mr. Giacomo? Oh my gosh, what am I doing? I should have said her off the bat. But yeah, Mr. Giacomo. You want me to go in depth about our relationship?
Oh yeah. No one on the channel knows Mr. Giacomo.
Well, they should know Mr. Giacomo because Mr. Giacomo is, first of all, such a memorable person. I had her, I think, for ninth grade English, I think, question mark, I don't know. So she was like one of like the foundations of me in high school. She helped me a lot. Of course, she's super funny, super charismatic, and she's a hard worker like me. She got me to get into the Leo Club, and of course, I was a member, and then I worked my way up, and now I'm the president, and it's all because of her. And she's helped me a lot, and she's super funny just in general, and she knows how to get with the kids. She knows how to be hip with the kids, which is really funny because she's like kind of old.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I like it when old people are like they're with it. They're with it.
I mean, it's better than them just railing on us. So
Yeah, because I also know a lot of younger teachers, like a lot of English teachers, math teachers that are so blah. Like not to like be mean or anything, but it's the truth. Like I've had their class and I've just gotten through it and it's been like blah, whatever. But
almost safe. Like they don't try anything. They don't try to connect with anyone.
Yeah, of course I'm not gonna name any names, but Mr. Giacomo made class memorable. It made me go like I would totally do English again with her because of how fun it was. She made learning fun. And yeah, she would probably be number one best teacher in my opinion.
That's good. That's very good. I'm glad to hear. Tell me about on the flip side. Tell me about your worst teacher or like experience. Maybe like you had like one moment of a teacher was just god awful. Just didn't tell me why. Tell me how.
That's gonna be even harder to think of.
We're lucky in Caroline County to have some pretty good teachers.
Yeah. I really don't think I've ever had a student teacher incident in school. I'm usually just like really quiet and reserved. I don't have an attitude. I really don't know. I gotta think hard.
I know my brother could share plenty of stories. He should be on soon enough, so that should be a fun interview. Everyone will be looking forward to that.
Yeah, this ain't the question for me. I just get through it, and if I see like maybe a teacher that I don't know, I don't really have a good reception with, I just ignore it. I honestly cannot think of something like bad in any way, any kind of bad experience I've ever had. I really can't.
I mean, that's good. I mean, that's better than. I honestly think that's better than having a story, because that just shows that we have good teachers and we're working with good teachers. We want good teachers to teach our good students,
I'll probably come up with something right after this ends, but
if you do, that's fine. So were you in any gifted programs? And if not, what was your perception of them or the kids in those programs? Like in elementary school, middle school, whatever.
No. I really don't think I was in any like gifted programs. I was like offered to go a grade ahead when I was really young, and I denied it because I wanted to stay with my own friends. That's really the only experience I've had with that. There's my other dry answer.
That's fine. If this goes really short, I'll think of something that we can talk about. Did you take any AP classes in high school?
Nope, absolutely not.
Neither did Dalton.
I don't have time for that. Thanks.
Well, do you have any perceptions of the AP program?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my friends took it, especially like the freshmen freshman class for AP US History. I was interested in it, and then I was kind of like, do I really have time over the summer to do this with the amount that I work and the amount that I volunteer? Do I really? And I measured it with myself, and I was like, come on, it's not worth it for me. And I'm fine now. I'm far ahead, and I really don't think I needed it. It probably could have benefited me, but I've done so much, and I'm so busy all the time. It probably would have brought me down quite a lot. So I guess that's why I didn't do it. But from what I've heard, of course they're hard. They're designed to be hard. I haven't heard anything else negative from anybody like failing or anything. I don't think I know anybody that's failed one of them or something like that.
Well, those who take the course are usually mentally and academically prepared to take them, so they probably don't fail. Speaking from my experience, yeah,
I had one of my buddies actually like was put in that class, and the first day the teacher goes, if you don't want to take this AP course, you can leave, and he just left the classroom. I thought that was kind of funny.
Actually, I have a story with that. I was going to take AP Spanish my senior year, I think, and first day, teacher was speaking full Spanish. She gave us like a full Spanish article, and I was like, I can't do this. I can't understand a word you're saying. I can't understand a word on this paper. This isn't for me. I left the class the next day. I think I joined Theater 2. I think that was well worth it.
Right.
But speaking from experience, yes, AP takes up a lot of your time. I could list a dozen nights where I stayed up well past midnight just doing work, not even like watching YouTube or getting dessert or anything, just doing work.
Yeah, that's not for me. Could not do
that. I agree. Yeah, no, that's not for everyone. I didn't really want to do it either, but you do what you do. So how did your school handle conflict or psychology issues?
Well, I have a story for this.
Oh boy.
So, I probably have to give more background, so this might be a bit longer, but it makes up for the questions that I didn't really answer. So, as I stated before, I'm very involved in my school, and last year recently, I put together a GSA club which stands for Gender Sexuality Alliance. And so basically was I don't know what the kids call it these days, a LGBT safe space in our school. And the school hadn't had one in a while. It did have one before, but that was before my time. And we just didn't really have a space. Honestly, our gay kid space was the theater.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, with that, the GSA was a success. Plenty of turnout, plenty of like loyal members, and I had a great advisor. One of our English teachers, Miss Sullivan, reminds me of Mr. Giacomo, although I've never had Miss Sullivan as a teacher. She probably would be up there with her own best teacher. She does so much for the school, for the community, and she helps a lot with the kids, whatever. So we put together our GSA, and we already knew we were going to get some drawback. That was a given. And so time went on, and we advertised more. So we put posters up around the school, and this started an uprising, I guess, of people who opposed the idea of a club as a safe space, which kind of makes no sense to me. But that just goes to show there's a lot of, I'd say, hatred, bigotry within the student body. We had this massive amount of retaliation. We had mostly all of our posters were ripped down, which was horrible. And we couldn't really do anything about it except put more up. And people in our club were getting threatened by the students. I was threatened a lot. My vice president was threatened a lot, and it got really bad. This was around February, March of last year. So, so this came to the school's attention, of course, because it's this whole school-wide thing, and I think they handled it pretty well. I was in the principal's office a lot, and trying to deal with like who said this, or do you know this person? They did this in this part of the school, and figuring things out. Talking with these people, asking like why they're doing this. So this was all like right before we all got kicked out of school because of the coronavirus. This was like the week of. So on the Friday of this week, we're about to meet, and this is going to be the meeting of all meetings for this club. The police were going to be there. That's how intense it was. That Friday was the Friday that we all got kicked out of school and never went back, which makes me wonder how it would have went. Like, what would have happened? But besides that, I think the school did a pretty good job. They were on our side because we did nothing wrong. And they kind of settled down the conflict. There was plenty of announcements saying like, hey, we don't tolerate this kind of crap in the school. You need to stop. We're going to take legal action, all this. And we got members of our club that were like heavily threatened, like me and my vice president. We got some protections for it. And so, yeah, I think the school did a pretty good job with that. That's just my personal experience, though.
I remember that week. That was horrifying. Just speaking as someone who wasn't even part of the club, sadly, I was just too busy.
Yeah, it's okay.
But I remember all the drama club. We rallied behind you guys, tried to make pins and stuff, tried to do a sort of protest.
That's right. We did have a lot of support from other teachers, which totally surprised me how a lot of people went out of their way to openly support us. Like, some of the students did that. I think our friend Stevie and another person did that, and a lot of the teachers, which was very surprising.
I just wish I had this jacket at the time. That would be great.
Yeah, that's a nice looking jacket, dude.
Thank you. It came out on Crater Inc. recently. I'm not sponsored. Please don't sponsor me. I don't need money right now. But no, that was a get back on topic. That was a very scary time.
Right.
Not even just like for that, but like like you said, the pandemic was starting. And we were all kind of
at the same time.
We were all kind of dumb about it because like we saw the memes and we were like, oh, it's not gonna happen, and then it just did. And I that Friday was a big day for a lot of people. It just really sucked for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Anyway, this kind of is related, and you can just answer the same thing you just did, not word for, but like, how did your school handle bullying? Clearly, pretty well. I mean, at least that's my perception based on your answer.
Right. Our situation was a much bigger deal, but I mean, I can kind of talk with. I mean, I had a separate experience with bullying, and so our school has plenty of guidance counselors, and they're usually available. You can make appointments for them. They're easy to contact, and usually they try to help you. They resolve conflict. There's you can file like a bullying report. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but it looks official. So I think they're doing something. But I've had to do that once or twice because I had a situation where a couple people were harassing me in school for a while. And it resolved pretty quickly, maybe. They handle bullying pretty well. That's what I would say.
Good. So to backtrack a bit, related to the pandemic, Governor Hogan is pushing for schools to reopen. I don't know if you heard about that. This is a topical issue. We just learned about it in class an hour ago. So I wanted to know what you thought about that. Do you think that they should reopen schools or?
Yeah, there's two sides of me with that. I got the more emotional side, and then I got the logical side. Logical side is saying absolutely not. Do you think we are prepared for that? Do you think that students have look, I worked at Walmart for a while, and the people that would walk in with their masks on here, their masks on here, their masks on here, everywhere except for their mouth and their nose. I really don't think we have enough like collective brain cells to go back to school. I really don't think we're prepared. And I'm not saying that all of America is like this, but take a look at certain other places in the world that literally don't have to deal with this anymore because everybody followed the rules. And there wasn't this kind of retaliation. Oh, the government's trying to control us. You know what I'm talking about? So that side of me is like, absolutely not. We are not prepared for this. And it could be safe. It could be. But it's really, really not a good idea. It's really not going to work in the long run. The other side of me is going, I'm a senior. And my senior year was taken from me. And it's not fair. And we should be able to go back to school and at least experience like actual school like a normal high schooler would. Because I crunched so hard my junior year just so I could goof off my senior year. Now I cannot do that. And I mean, that's a little bit more of a selfish kind of thinking of it, but it's true. It's how I sort of think about it. And I think
a lot of people think like you.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, it's fine. I can follow all the precautions, you know, wear my mask the right way, stay clean, stay 6 feet apart. A lot of people can understand that and can keep themselves safe. I feel like I'm part of that group. But then the other side of me is like, come on, Gray. You know, there's kids in there that don't care, and they're probably, you know, wiping their germs everywhere at any chance they get just because they think it's funny. We're not prepared for it. So I guess my answer is split midway, if that makes sense. I hope that I didn't make that more complicated. But if you got to choose one, I would go with the logical side. That's how I think about it.
Yeah. I'm inclined to agree. It worries me because we now are going to have 2, potentially more entire classes just don't have a senior year. Well, I got half a senior year, but like everything important happens in the later half. It was just a regular school year up till we left. And it's horrible. And I want people to go back. I want little kids to have that social interaction. I want high schools to have social interaction. I want seniors to have prom. I want seniors to have senior trips. I want them to graduate properly. But it's not going to be worth it if we all get sick in a week, right? Because we all go back and we're not doing everything properly.
I think a lot of people, we're going to be in a lot of trouble if a lot of us listen to our hearts, even though we know that it's right. Well, at least we think that it's right. We got to listen to our brains on this because we're dealing with a deadly virus. And I've heard, I don't know if this is true, just putting that out there, but I heard there's like more strands of it. And knowing about a little bit about viruses, they're living things that can mutate and evolve. They're living things.
Right, it's a hot debate, but like, yeah, for the purposes of evolution.
I'll call them living things.
It works.
No, they're not like actual organisms how we think.
Viruses are weird. They break all laws of physics and science and
it's
nature.
Like, if it's a one-cell organism, I'm calling it a living thing. I don't care. It's a living thing in my eyes. Anyway.
And continue, yeah.
Well, no, that's all I have to say. I think a lot of us want to listen to our hearts, and, you know, a lot of us, you know, mental health is getting really bad. Everyone's cooped up inside. I mean, it's not super bad for someone like me because I'm introverted and I like being inside. But even someone like me is like, holy crap, I need some social interaction. That's coming from me, you know?
We're all kind of losing our minds.
Yeah, so I think we really, really need to, suppress ourselves, think about it. We can get through it. Everyone just lay low. And then once we know for certain that it's not that big of a deal, at least it's not that big of a deal, then maybe, come back to normal life. We can all crawl out of our dark holes,
Yeah.
out of the abyss of 2020
Yeah.
into the new era. That's what I think.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful we'll be out of this soon. We just have to, like you said, lay low and stop trying to force the world back into normalcy. It'll come eventually.
Right.
So did your school do anything equity related? Like obviously there's the GSA, but what was your perception of like racism and segregation in the school?
Oh, well, I mean, you can just walk into the school and you can find signs almost everywhere that says that this is a safe space for everybody. We don't discriminate against color, ethnicity, gender, orientation, whatever else. I mean, a place can have those signs up and then like not actually do anything, but I don't think this is the case. I think that even from just my experience, and I know there are a couple other clubs that one of them's not a thing anymore, but we did have a women's empowerment club, and so that was a pretty important step forward. We have our GSA club now, and we had a GSA club in the past before I was even in there, which is years ago.
I think that was even before I was there.
Probably. So I do think that the school definitely takes any kind of like social justice matters definitely seriously. I mean, I've seen a little bit of like someone in the cafeteria one time made a racist remark to someone else that was resolved very quickly. So it's not like they turn a blind eye. They do take it seriously. So that's one thing I'm proud of my school for. That they really do take those sort of things seriously, as long as it's brought to light.
That's good. That's very good. As we discussed last episode, you all will know that I went to, and most of the people who I'm interviewing went to a school in the middle of nowhere. So it's very good that that a lot of people have this perception that we are an inclusive space. I know, speaking from someone who's now in college, at like the most inclusive school I've ever heard of, and thinking back to my high school experience, yeah, we did pretty good. I mean, they can't do everything because not everything gets brought up, but like you said, the things that get brought up, they're handled relatively well, and we know from the GSA that when things get tough, the school will react appropriately.
Yeah. Oh, and also to mention, I'm also in the SGA, the Student Government Organization, and we have like a subcategory for student voice and student rights, where it's the perfect opportunity for students to bring to light any issues that they have and literally have a student voice. So I think honestly, like right now, we're more than inclusive. It's just that people need to, get out there, look at the clubs, join up, and become more with their school community.
Agreed. All right. I only got one question left, and then you are free to go. Are there any other stories that you think the people listening would like, or anything you want to leave them with?
Well, I'll probably just say something motivational because I don't know, that feels appropriate for this podcast. I've seen a lot of success and I've seen a lot of failure from all of my friends, from this friend and this friend, and I like to think that I've been able to succeed, and that's not gonna say, I'm not saying that I've had it easy and I've just, you know, been able to join up and do certain things because I can. It's certainly not true. I've struggled a lot, you know, with my own self-confidence and my own identity. It's brought me down quite a bit, and this is going to get really cheesy. You gotta believe. You gotta believe in yourself. And of course, something else that's very important, you gotta talk to people. You gotta ask for help. I wouldn't be in the Leo Club, in National Honor Society, in the GSA, in the drama club if I didn't, you know, get help and ask people and get out and talk to people, actually talk to people. I would probably just be doing nothing my entire high school career. So I really think it's important, especially like for freshmen or anybody, any undergrad, even if you're going to college, to just, you know, and this is coming from an introvert, be a little bit extroverted. I mean, just try and, you know, ask more, and you'll get a lot of benefits. You really will. And if your school is having a problem like our GSA had, just talk to someone. You know, you just let them know, and hopefully you'll be all right. I mean, I almost had to shut our GSA down, and because I went and I asked and I got support from counselors and our principal, we're fine. And we have like 50 members right now. We're doing so good. And we actually just had our fundraiser, and we got a couple of like shirts and hoodies in. They just got shipped in. And I wouldn't be here. Yeah, I wouldn't be here without, you know, getting help, talking to people, asking, socializing. Yeah, that's my wisdom.
Awesome. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for talking to me and sharing your story. Everyone, tune in whenever I get this video out and whenever I get the next one out. I hope you have a wonderful day, Gray. Thank you again for coming.
Thank you, Sam, for having me on here. I love talking about myself.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. I hope you have a wonderful day.
All right, thank you, bro. I'll see you later.